All right. Should be all clear. Make sure we can hear myself. Nice. Cool, cool. As of now, I'm looking for lower prices, I think. That's kind of what I'm favoring. Power hour's opening up, so we'll see what we get this last hour. We've already moved quite a bit today, so we may just kind of consolidate. From this range high to low, we're already really at the equilibrium. Right there. You were right at that equilibrium, actually. Might be ugly. Let's see what's played out so far today. Open. Yeah, pretty much all bullish, huh? Ugly movement, first presented for value gap hold. Volume imbalance. Yeah, so I think there's a lot of lows left behind, actually. Wouldn't mind that. The 1 hour is holding bullish, however. It's on the most recent time frame here. But so far, yeah, bullish wick on the 4 hour. Wouldn't mind that closing in. We'll see. If we do want to go higher, I like this here. We shut up into it shortly before we get this moved lower. And we didn't even get into its consequent encroachment. So we have some buy side sitting up there, right? That'd be the short-term buy side as a potential target. But right now we just keep referencing still that old high that we've ran. So we run an hourly high here and just continuing to play around that area inside of more higher time frame fair value gaps. Yeah, nothing too clear. Just hide everything up. We did sweep that low. Okay. Yeah, for me, we're really in 50-50 area, so gonna have to wait for more information. If you could frame it on both sides of the market, just lower probability conditions. Not trying to force anything. I am watching though, so if we're gonna create the breaker low, high, lower, low, clearing this sell side, and then expanding through that, we can watch and see kind of how that breaker with the 1 minute fair value gap here pairs. So we have the 1 minute and we have that actual 1 hour. Move to 15 for now. Just kind of browsing around some higher time frames, looking at where we might want to go. 4 hour sends, even if we are going to go lower, just kind of playing with the idea that we may want to reach for that 4 hour high one more time if this fair value gap gets left open. Run through potential possibilities, reach for that high. Okay. So if we can close above this, right, as we said, reach for the untapped inefficiency up here. And then I think if we can get above that, should be able to run into the high. Make a new high maybe. Of course, we have equal highs right here, so I'm curious to see what kind of reaction price will give. More highs in, okay. Volume balance. go into this just playing with the idea. I don't know. Yeah, we're ugly here. I'm not really in a rush to do much. Might just end up watching. Like I already said, just really at equilibrium of this current range, high to low. Targets lower and higher. We left that buy side, so for me, I think we may want to try to come into this and almost bounce here one more time. It's held us a few times. It's the hourly and it's the 1 minute. Especially because we left those highs. I'm curious to see what kind of movement price gives as we dig into that real quick one more time. We'll see if we want to fall right through or if it's just another wick. We just hit the 5. Oh, we didn't. Okay, so look, there's a lower 5 minute here. And we didn't get into it. Equal lows, but we did sweep these lows. So yeah, just playing in here. Short-term low swept. We'll see if we now want to try to take these highs. Just really bouncing between liquidity points here, low and high. Bearish volume balance back to back. So that's more bearish indicators. Watching to see how we react within this 1 minute. So the darker shaded area here. Trade into its low, close above. Trade perfectly into the 1 minute low now. I want to see if we close above that again. This might be that swing low point to attack highs. If we keep both of these open and can close below this fair value gap, what the volume balance would be the draw again. Do the equal highs at the high. If we are bullish, right, that's what we would target. But we can't do, oh, excuse me. Jeez. Because we've already moved so much. If price wants to remain within its daily range right now, right, it could actually leave those highs for another time, so. I'd like to see at least these highs for the time being, but we'll see if we want to make actual new high of day. Close back below it again. So we didn't clear this high, but kind of like we said yesterday, even the previous day, we don't want to get too sidetracked. As we said, there is a 5 minute right here, so we've just hit the 5 minute. Right on higher time frames, how do we react here? Back inside the volume imbalances. I'm just gonna go like this. I want to see what we do really here, right? Because we had bearish fair value gap and then 2 volume imbalances in a row. So this whole kind of area, I'm curious to see how price wants to react in there, especially because the 5 minute candlestick has just closed below this 5 minute fair value gap in here. Like if this high would have ran these equal highs out, this would be looking pretty good to try to short, potentially in the first percentage fair value gap here. But leaving those highs just a little fishy, especially when we have that inefficiency that price can try to retrace up into one more time. So far though, volume imbalance is holding well. Right, the inversion fair value gap itself is actually holding as well. Let's kind of take away the 1 minute real quick and go focus on that 5 minute inversion we're talking about. That's what I'm referencing is this here, like this. All right, so we had this 5 minute fair value gap. Price was trading into it, wicked multiple times, 1, 2, 3, 4 times, closes above, and then trades right through it and closes below it. So I'm just trying to see if that's going to try to offer any type of resistance into just lower discounts at this point. as we said, if we could have ran this high, this would be a lot more, well, they said be a lot more willing to try to go short right now. But we may get one more stab higher. Got the 1 hour. Volume imbalance is still holding, right? You're noticing the wicks are going up and doing bodies, can't even actually get above the 5-minute consequent encroachment. So my attention right now is really at this level here, the 5-minute consequent encroachment. Just watching how these candlesticks are acting. 2 more minutes until another 5-minute candlestick will close. So really, like, if this candlestick can actually hold this level, close back below consequent encroachment, even if it actually closes below the 5-minute itself, I think that sets the stage for at least this low getting traded into again. Have yet to get into the actual fair value gap, so there we go. First trade up into that fair value gap. Closure above the fair, or okay, first closure above the volume imbalance. Still 1 more minute, so this candlestick will play more importance. If this candlestick remains above, then the 5-minute will be kind of reclaimed. Like that one candle's chance, right? Very next candle after closing above actually opens with the bearish volume imbalance right back into the high of the 5-minute. So we may be able to negate this candle's action, close back below the volume imbalances again. And then, as we said, that kind of sets into motion the fact that we could target a low here and potentially just a daily volume imbalance. Those are often strong magnets on price. Not long or anything. I took a short earlier right here off of the 5-minute, right, in this inversion. That's the only trade I'm taking so far. So this price traded into this 4-hour fair value gap for the first time. We go into consequent encroachment. We find support at this 1 minute, and then this candlestick closes below it, as it also closes below the 4-hour. So I just took a short right there, inversion, to target the daily volume imbalance. Just a 1 to 2. So we got out at that candle, and then at this point, we're just watching. 5-minute does actually close above consequent encroachment, so not as clean as we'd like, but we can expect that with just the ugly price delivery. At this point, still not convinced either way on a direction, so just sitting on the hands. As we said, we could probably just consolidate here if we wanted to close out the day. This is equilibrium of our current dealing range, right? High to low. So we continue to really reference that spot. In my opinion, the best trades in this type of environment will take place really at the extremes of the range. Right, trying to enter trades right when it's in equilibrium is when you tend to get chopped up. So for us, we'll wait till either we run out some highs up here, or we try to give a deeper retracement into the volume imbalance and then look to catch a movement just back up into the range itself. Yeah, sure. NQ really in the same spot. Right, so a little bit deeper retracement off its high. Right now we're sitting just inside of a new day opening gap and really right at its midnight open. Right, so same idea to where at this point we're just consolidating. NQ was able to clear this low. So same idea. Just wait and see what kind of liquidity wants to get interacted with. If we're going to clear this low and swipe the sell side liquidity, are we going to try to cause maximum damage now? Right, reverse and attack some buy side here. That is what I would almost be looking at in NQ. Seeing this as kind of a false bear flag, or a, not bear flag, but bearish PD array. Push up and through it to attack buy side. Because that low, what low is that? 221. So that's actually pretty big SMT as well. Right, this low in NQ that NQ took is this low in ES. So that kind of sets the stage actually for a run up higher. I like that idea. Could maybe use that fair value gap if it gets left open. Aligning with the new day opening gap right there. Just so choppy that, right, it's low probability. So we're in a just low probability conditions. Like something like that valid, sure, but just kind of ugly price delivery. Not in a rush. So look how we trade up into this. Trade into the bearish fair value gap. Close on its high. Bullish volume imbalance trying to escape. Instead, we negate that. Close back below consequent encroachment. Another bearish volume imbalance. So like classic signatures of just high resistance liquidity runs. Even if we're going to go bullish. Like say, I think we do want to get these highs. But it might be choppy getting there. A lot of back and forth delivery. Which no one's a fan of that. 1 minute fair value gap though, so in my mind, if we're gonna start trying to run bullish, let's start respecting some discounts. Especially after, right, we've cleared sell side, clear sell side, return into the 5 minute, overtake the bearish volume imbalance, displacement above the 5 minute fair value gap, leaving the 5 minute fair value gap with a 1 minute fair value gap. So in clean price delivery, right, all of these signatures would point towards price wanting to make a run into highs. But as we say, because we are stuck really at that equilibrium of high to low, things just become a lot less probable. Don't forget, right, it's also a higher time frame 1 hour fair value gap. So price will continue to reference that if we're just going to try to, right, meander around this area. Be boring. Good old boring price. So watching that 5 minute, we close above. 5 minute has just closed above this candlestick. So now if we are going to run, we should really hold this low. Right, as we'll continue to say, nothing in here though was warranting a true actual entry. More so just framing setups. If it runs as we expect, that's fine. I'm not worried about missing a move. I like to wait for higher probability conditions personally. Inverted the 15-minute bearish. So yeah, especially when we're creating a lot of inversions and things like that. Watch that 1 hour. I feel like the 1 hour, like say it was absolutely going to force a trade, it'd be using like this 1 hour as an entry. Kind of ignoring all of this nonsense price action here. Kind of like we spoke about yesterday. Relying on higher time frame anchor points. I think we're getting stuck at the 4 hours. Like, let's kind of break the anatomy down of that. Let's go. Yeah. Quarter level, kind of what I was thinking. Quarter level getting hit. Oh, I want that. No problem, Scotty. Like I say, glad to help, man. Helps me stay organized as well. Keep the thoughts precise. Closure below the 5 minute. Oh wait, nope. Closure on the 5 minute low. So revisiting here. Even look at that. Equal lows there again. So yeah. Right, these are kind of the things that we look at to indicate that we're just going to remain kind of consolidating. Right, a lot of equal highs and lows, a lot of lethargic candlesticks, so a lot of wicks, not true movement away, not many fair value gaps, up and down through the same PD array multiple times. Like if I was going to force an entry, if I had to take an entry, I would do something like this. If they said take an entry or never trade again today, that is what I would do, with the expectation that all of this is nonsense. And as we said, the best trades when we're consolidating will come kind of at the extremes of the range, paired with higher time frame key areas. So I would be trying to like buy the volume imbalance to target then the equal highs up there. Oh my, look at that, that would have been clean. So now let's see how we close. First AM fair value gap down here, yep. That's why we have this sell side highlighted, because if we start breaking down through some of these discounts, especially if we get below the volume imbalance, we could reach into that first presented fair value gap while clearing and picking up some of that sell side liquidity, closing right on the low. So we'll see candle bodies getting lower. A lot of buy side left behind. Welcome, man. First time. Glad to have you. Thanks for joining. Spending your time here. So I'm watching this 5 minute and see if we're going to invert that. Right, first time we've really gotten 2 candles to confirm closing below this 5 minute. Right, nothing in here. We get one kind of, but the next candle immediately closes back inside. That's what we talk about when we're negating this candle's action. Was here, right? Back-to-back candles closing below. To me, kind of inferring that this now can be used as an inversion to keep sending us lower. Especially because the 5 minute candlestick is about to close. Oh, it just closed. Okay, yeah. Right, so it just closed. Yeah, that makes sense then. So as we said, we watch under volume balance, right? We should be able to get sell side. We like the idea of coming into first presented fair value gap. And then we'll see if we don't want to retrace back into the range, and then that's when we'll try to catch something here. So it looks like we will close below that. This is yesterday's high, I believe. Yep, yesterday's high. All right, cool. So there's the sell side. So now I'm interested to see what do we get here now that we've broken the range. If we invert this, so if we can leave a fair value gap open, right? Let's say we leave this fair value gap open. Price wicks back above and holds the day opening gap. We can accelerate through, invert that fair value gap. That would be our trigger to look for longs. And then I would target this high right there. Da, 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 da. Nice. So good run there. As we said, I'm curious to see how we close. I mean, look, we just love that, right? Look at that close. Jeez. Hard to argue when you see things like that. So already immediately, we did not leave a fair value gap as we break this low. That's kind of one thing I look for to sustain bearishness. As we break below areas of liquidity, we want to leave fair value gaps there. We don't. So now already my attention immediately goes back towards, right, this fair value gap here. Can we invert this level? get back above the daily volume imbalance. And then for me, that is where my long would come. Using the most recent low to target buy side there, and then maybe all the way for a new high day. Let's see what we get. Same idea though, right? We're focusing on the longs. If bearishness is to resume, I do think it would be from here, same area, which is why I want to see this area actually give way. So I think it's just a key area in price. Right, if we're going to remain bearish, it'll be from here. We'll continue to break lows. Which if that's the case, we just won't miss, or we won't be involved on that. I already caught one short earlier, as we mentioned, so. Is there educational material? I have a few videos, yeah, on my YouTube actually. Most of them are in the Discord. That's kind of where I go over like the concepts and how I use them. But there's some videos on here for sure, on my YouTube channel. This blue line right here is the previous day's high. So I always like having those levels, right? Just the previous day high and lows. Those are going to be sensitive. As we see, good rejection there. So yeah, especially if we gave a rejection and then cleared that, that'd be even better. But we'll see if we want to break below. If we break below this first present fair value gap, we may actually turn our attention to a run lower at that point, to try to use that and whatever swing point gets formed in there. Target here. But yeah, in higher time frames, I do like this. Right, it's all wicks so far. 15, 2. So no candlestick besides the one has actually closed below this low. Here goes our retest of that liquidity area. See if we retest first presented fair value gap. Oh, jeez. You be smoking? No, I guess not. Cigarettes. The other stuff occasionally. I really have them allergies. That's what's been getting me. Whoa. All right, so let's see. As we said, we want to see if we close above that. Closure above that sets up. I'd probably use consequent encroachment. Use the old liquidity, as we said, just like that, to target the high. We don't close above it. Gonna have to require one more candle. We'll see if we leave a fair value gap. We close above its consequent encroachment. So if we're aggressive, we could already almost try to use the volume imbalance, with the understanding we've already closed above consequent encroachment, so we can continue to run, which it looks like might happen. Unfortunate if we miss it, but I like the idea. Maybe try to leave a fair value gap in here, so let this candlestick close above, and then we'll actually have a fair value gap right there, perfectly on the daily volume imbalance actually. So I like that too. Yeah, I like that. Let's see how we close. Sneeze in here. Yeah, it's brutal, man. The sneezes, the cough, the itchy eyes. I hate that one too. You get like an itchy eye attack. Just gotta scratch that hoe. Okay. Alright, so we'll try that. But as we said, we kind of got exactly what we want to see. I'll run up the sell side, holding at the first presented fair value gap, reclaim the sell side, fail to actually break back below it, invert the daily volume imbalance and the bullish or the bearish fair value gap, close above, leaving behind now another bullish fair value gap inside. So right? For me, conditions are met to try to long this. If we get rolled over, we're just offsides. And at that point, oh well, I'll take the trade again. But this is a trade I would take 10 out of 10. Higher time frames, holding that, yeah. Whoa. Right, so now as we look at this, though, like on a 5 minute, there is a bearish 5 minute fair value gap here. And that's going to happen as we run into lows. But for us, if we are bullish, we expect areas like this to be traded through. So that's really what I want to see. We hit the fair value gap. I'll be weak if we, should we just, no, I think we tap that daily volume bounce one more time. But as we said, we'll go one tick above it, just in case we get a perfect tap of it. If we just run from the fair value gap, RIP. MQ holding its hourly fair value gap. Yep, 60 minute. NQ on its first presented fair value gap as well. Yeah, consolidate here a little bit, maybe get stuck at the 5 minute quick dive into the daily volume imbalance, followed by acceleration higher, is what our kind of outlook is right now. If we're unfortunate, right, and we only want to use the fair value gap, we may not get the entry because we've already hit the daily volume balance here once. I'm looking for another tap of it. I think price will want to give one more. But if not, right, we'll have to miss out on it. I'm thinking though, just because of how much we're already consolidating, even though we may want to go higher, high resistance means we can give a lot of back and forth. So I think we can get that entry there. This becomes our objective buy side. We hit that fair value gap again. Okay. Five minute holding us. As we said, there is an actual 5 minute. Wait, this is a 15? Oh, excuse me, yeah. 5 minute there. What's my square? So this is the most recently formed 5 minute fair value gap. And it's a bearish fair value gap. This is a bullish fair value gap that's turned into a bearish inversion fair value gap. So this is why I want us to actually hold here, trade us into our entry, and then invalidate both of these would be best case scenario for us. Tapping that fair value gap again. So at this point, we're creating a lot of equal lows, like on a minute or a second, 5 second time frame. Just need a tick or two into the So we get to dive into it. Now we'd want to see basically rejection quickly. If we can close above the fair value gap and hold that, that'd be like our best case scenario. Let the wick do the body. I don't want to really close inside. Ooh, just like we did there. Okay. So we'll see what we do here, but I'd want us to wick this area, not really close inside of it. As you said, stop is all the way down at this original liquidity, so it has room to breathe because of this large bullish fair value gap. As we said, off the 5 minute here, if we're going to hold the inversion, revisit this area, we'll just be offsides. At this moment, I'm watching really consequent encroachment of the volume balance and this 1 minute in here. I'd like to see this candle, especially after kind of digging lower, if we can get back above the inversion and close above, that would be good for us. If we, kind of like we see here, if this candle struggles to actually get outside of this original bearish fair value gap, then I don't think that we will be looking too hot for this entry. We're holding those premiums. Coming off that 5 minute up there, see if we can't turn over. There's the low. That's kind of really where I'd want to see it max go as far as a wick. Closure below that, stop loss would be expected. Right, we'd want to see really a higher low continue to be put into place here. I'm watching yesterday's high, so previous day high, we've closed on that. Would like to see that high offer support. Ideally get us back above, because this candle has closed below the daily volume imbalances. Right, that's going to be a pretty bearish signature for us for the time being. Candlesticks are going to be trying to get above that and may offer us resistance. So we'd want to see price get above that, close above that. Once again, look at the bodies. Body closes right on yesterday's high. So yeah, even that, more bearish to me. Need to retake the volume imbalance here after coming off of the low of the inversion. So we want to see that, we want to see that velocity. We want to see price basically maintain that speed. We want to see price be able to actually remain strong, and as we say, close above. We want to get outside of this inversion. Low of that inversion here was really all we wanted to see. Now that we're going to revisit this 5 minute, this is where it kind of becomes crucial, right? Do we continue to do this and wick into it? That's something we really wouldn't want to see. At this point, we would want to see price push through these highs, close inside the 5 minute, and then eventually, as we say, reach for these higher prices, heading into the last 20 minutes of price delivery. So really just right now watching what kind of interaction do we get off that 5 minute. As we say, best case for us, we almost disregard that as a premium and we push right through it. Would not want to see price hit this high, wick this high, and close back within the range. Yeah, so far, not liking that. Yeah, not liking that. As we said, right, exactly what you wouldn't want to see there. Might just get stuck once again. Zoom out. We don't want to get too lost here. If we're going to get stuck in this range, high to low. Equilibrium now. Where's our new equilibrium? Right here. Equilibrium is consequent encroachment of the 5 minutes. So actually, let's be smart. How many handles is that? We take one partial at the high, which is 5 handles, so our classic ends model partial. One partial there. And then you would go, at that point, we would just hold the rest. I don't think we get hot ebb day. We'd exit at the equal highs right there. So now our attention goes to the bullish fair value gap here. We would not want to see that invalidated. If we close below this, especially this low, like we could almost put our stop loss here. Because at this point, if we're going to close below this low, we might come all the way back down against us. And just not be a good time. Oh, volume imbalance. I mean, that's okay. As we said, volume imbalance, just like we talked about yesterday, have to rely on higher time frame areas of interest. So I'm just going to keep these up for now, but so far, not liking that. As we said, this was like our worst. We didn't want to run that high out and remain within its range because that's short-term high being cleared. Pick up liquidity to maybe reverse on us. We wanted to close above that. Gold, after this trade, maybe. I don't think I've ever looked at gold, to be honest. That'd be fun. New instrument. Push, maybe. I'm gonna give you gold. I don't even know what the symbol for that is. Just gold. G. Oh, CL, that's not what I thought. That's crude, is that not? I know what CL is. How dare you? You're playing me. That's funny. Got some gold traders in here. Okay. Go crazy. GC, the group chat. Hit up the group chat. Oh, there it is. Let's see. All up, it says following indices. Yeah, it was pretty similar. Concepts pan out the same. First percent for value gap. Inverted holds perfectly. Oh, that's clean. I mean, I guess I wouldn't have much to say. Like if I'm bullish, I would look for highs. That's kind of what I would expect. Looks like it wants to keep running, so. We're inside of the first presented fair value gap of the month, though. That's kind of where we're getting stuck, so we'll see. Short-term high cleared. 5-minute fair value gap holds us. I'm about to invert the 1 hour. So yeah, gold's bullish, I would say. Where are we at here? Are we break even? I guess we're gonna wait for the 350. Hope we get some type of movement off that. I mean, that volume imbalance is trying. It's trying. It's doing its best. I am going to move this one tick lower. Boop. We learned our mistake last time. All right, as we said, as we continue to trade into the 5 minute, we want to see price push through that. Ideally close above. Because remember, right inside of here, there's also a small 5 minute bearish fair value gap. First touch of consequent encroachment. So this to me becomes pretty key because now we're trying to put in some 3 drives, okay? See if we can't get at least a partial. But yeah, we don't like 3 drives like that. Or we create 1, we create 2, and now if we go 3 without being able to close above any of the previous highs, that is a pretty bearish signature off rip. Right, if we get 3 drives into highs without any of the bodies actually closing above the previous high, ooh, that's bad. So we've actually been able to close inside the 5 minute. So I'd want to see almost that 5 minute low offer us support, push us higher into the 5 minute high and partial us out. If not, straight back down into the volume imbalance, and at that point maybe we get ran out because, as we say, we're just running out buy side slowly. We haven't moved really far enough yet for me to justify, yeah, partial. I mean, that high itself would be 5, so we can do that. So we'll get out at 5 partial, or 5 partials, at 5 handles with 1 if we can. If not, oh well. 350 inbound. Let's see if that can't give us the run up that we're looking for here to close out the day. There's that. Oh, we didn't get it. Maybe we will. Let's see. Can we run up into high? I don't like when we have this off rip, so I am going to close 1 more right here at these right equal highs. And at this point, we're not trying to give anything back, so we immediately go break even. 2 partials taken. Final TP will be here. And now we'll see if price wants to run to close out the day. Nice. Cleared that high. I like that actually. We're gonna go 2 here if we want to get there. And I'll try to actually target that inefficiency. We would need to hold from here. There's a retracement. We need to see a hard rejection of this candlestick. Close above the 5 minute, very next candlestick, immediately run for this candlestick's high. If we do that, we should be good. Don't like that. That's all right though. As you said, gotta hold the 5 minute. This candlestick did what we wanted, so we'll see if this here. I guess we can keep wicking it, but we don't want bodies playing around inside of that. We want to see quick wicks, hard rejections. And we'll see if we don't want to get the equal highs. We've run out this little quick short-term high in here. To me, that's not significant enough, especially because closing above that is more of an indication that we want to actually continue higher to me. Right? If we were to wick this high, then I'd be, I guess, a lot more apprehensive, and I think this would just immediately stop us out. But closing above this high, even just barely, gives us that slight chance, right? Slight indication that price is trying to continue higher. This retracement is retracing into just an established discount in the form of the 5-minute fair value gap. That's right here. Now we've opened with a bullish volume imbalance. I would want to see this be a traditional bullish volume imbalance in the sense that we just run from here because now we've already hit this candlestick's close. So I'd want this to remain open and this candlestick to just run into our buy side. Right, if we roll over and close this bullish, then we're just going to be offsides more than likely. We take one right at that high, one at the buy side, and then the final one at the oh wait. Playing us. Boom, there's a wall. What? Explain. That's actually crazy. What do we say? One tick. See, oh my idiot. I'm an idiot. Okay, that did stay open, but we didn't clear the high, so that's not good. Oh, that's comedy. This candle, yeah, I was like, this candle would need to hold, but more than likely, straight back into volume imbalance. There it is. Well, we fall short of our last partial. That's all right. That we were able to secure 2 partials here on the way up, and we get stopped at break even. So winning trade on the day. And right, where do we go? Just right back into the volume imbalance. So just continuing to reference that key area, which is why we used that originally to get long. Knowing us, price is going to reverse and just rip higher, of course, but no, we're content with that. So a good trade overall. I guess we'll share just because I didn't stream the original entries. How do I do this here? Okay. That's what I said. I went short originally here earlier. Off of this 1 minute. So as we ran into the buy side, we create a fair value gap there. I'm basically watching that fair value gap, and I'm trying to see if we close back below it. Right, so we trade into it once, we give us another run higher, clearing out highs again. We get the failure swing. We break lower, catch ourselves, retrace into a premium, and then, right, you'll notice we break down below that. So that's a pretty easy entry there, simple inversion. As we said, for me, I was actually entering on the 4-hour as well, because as we leave this 1 minute, we're also closing below the 4-hour. Simple entry on a retracement into that. And then our exit was, right, lo and behold, the same volume imbalance that we used for entry. So we're using the same levels over and over. It's just a matter of waiting for the right time. Right, so we get that exit. Price plays around in here. As we said, we're not really set to do anything until either these highs get ran or this low gets cleared. So in here, a lot of back and forth, but we're not thrown off sides. Price finally runs lower, clears that sell side we're looking for, purges and reverts, holds the liquidity, huge displacement. And then for us, pretty simple entry. Right, as we stated, we're already looking for that to occur. So when it does occur, there's no hesitation to enter that. We create the inversion, we create the bullish fair value gap, and our entry comes on that volume imbalance as we trade into it again. All right, for me, exit on this exit here, funded account, we aim for short-term targets. So as we trade up into that, that's what I'm getting out, into the high of it. But yeah, we'll keep it with that. Pretty simple afternoon. Right, I always like the afternoon on days when like Pal or people like that are talking, just because it gives us some extra clarity of what took place in the morning. Look at that. Hold up. We'll see how we close out. Straight up into the volume imbalance. See if we want to use that 5 minute as a quick bounce. Not the close, it kind of varies. I would say most of my streams are morning session streams. Like I mentioned, I just did the afternoon because we had morning news. So if we have some type of news in the morning I'm trying to avoid, then I'll come back in the afternoon and do the close. But usually it's just the morning. So in theory, this should hold us and go higher. We could almost do something like that. We won't do it, but let's see how that plays out. Yeah, we'll be here tomorrow at... Wait, when is the news? (10 a.m. news. We'd be here. Wait. Oh, we looked at that yesterday. We were confused. (7:30). Oh, there is high impact news at 9. Okay. So we'll be here tomorrow morning, like 8:55. Or I guess it would be 9:55 before the 10 o'clock news. So yeah, plan for that, everybody. We'll call it a day. Successful afternoon. So appreciate y'all hanging out. We'll be here tomorrow morning, 9:55 Eastern, just before that 10 o'clock high impact news. And we'll see what we get to close out the week. Until then, take care, everybody, and we will talk tomorrow. See you guys.